Thanks so much for joining us. This is MeWe Fairs, your safe space for authenticity and transformation. We run events throughout the Pacific Northwest and many online events. Tonight is our online panel, and it's on mediumship. We have different themes each time, and we're excited to help you connect with loved ones on the other side. There are at least 3 mediums that are here tonight that are going to be introducing themselves, sharing with you a bit about who they are, maybe how mediumship developed in their lives, and then we'll talk a bit more about mediumship, and we'll be available to answer your questions, or they'll be available to answer your mediumship questions. I'm not a medium. Depending on what the questions are tonight, I might have something to share, and I might be facilitating tonight. I was excited to be together. This has always been a really popular topic. It's great to see who's here, who's joined us, and I'm really excited with the practitioners that are on the panel tonight. Well, let's see. We didn't talk about order. What preferences do you all have about what order you go in when you introduce yourselves? Introduce yourself, maybe. Maybe we'll just go around this way. We'll have like Devlight and then Jennifer and then Echo. How's that work? And Devlight, go first. And take your time. We've got lots of time tonight. So yeah, go ahead and take your time introducing yourself, however you want to share.
Oh, good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Dovelight, and you can find me on my Instagram at Dovelight Oracle. My honor and blessings to be in your presence. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this very interesting topic. I truly feel that love is eternal, and our love and our passion for spirituality, whichever spirituality you might have, is what brings us together. And I do offer private readings. I have the coupon 2026 if you want a personal private reading after this session. And I'm just a regular person. I'm very intuitive. I am from Peru with indigenous and Amazonian ancestry. I'm also working with the Maya people, the Maya path. And I'm always been very interested in connecting to spirit. Even if I could not find the proper words, I'm always have a love for spirit in their many forms. And I truly feel that the more you are connected to your human life, the more you can be grounded to go into the depths of spirituality. Many times, not all of us use spirituality to escape from this world, which we're very happy to escape from this world, so much craziness going on. But living in this world is part of it, part of the experience. That is about a little bit about me. I do use tarot cards as a focus point, but intuition comes from the soul, which means that by connecting to your soul, you are able to tap into the frequency where you can receive messages. In my case, if it's for the highest good to know. I am not a know-it-all. I'm only allowed to say what it is for the highest good. It comes through it. Otherwise, they will not show me. And also a human too. And I'm learning how to each day of my life, I'm learning how to express the different uniqueness of how spirits come through me. So a little bit of me. Yeah, you can find me at theflightoracle.com. And thank you. Oh, by the way, I also support the indigenous Maya people. I do online programs. I do translate them, but I give the floor to the wisdom keepers to share their knowledge about cacao, about Maya cosmology, the Mayan calendar. So you can find all that information in my link tree as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Devlight. All right, Jennifer.
Good evening, everyone. I ended up in mediumship. I am a practicing witch, and I do tarot readings. And in ritual, you find communications often with different folks and entities from the other side. And as I have practiced with more regularity and over more time, I have found that mediumship comes through with a bit more regularity. It's all a journey as you learn to open up to these paths, to hear and understand these things, to be able to use your discernment so that you understand what you're hearing, whether it is your own subconscious or an actual other outside of you. It's an interesting and a very exciting journey as these things are learned and practiced and developed with each of us. And it's a fun group to get to know everybody's different path. I work mainly in tarot, but as I said, occasionally I do get pretty strong hits and indications of ancestors, past loved ones, um, sometimes one's subconscious or higher self. So, just very interesting work. It's been a fun path. And I guess that's it. Anything else I should add in, Lorelai?
It's okay. We're going to go around and talk a little bit more about mediumship right after that, right after this.
Okay.
It's totally fine. All right, great. And Echo.
Hi, my name is Echo. My spiritual journey started about a year and a half ago. I've been doing this for long, but I've worked very hard at it in a short time period. I started out learning tarot cards. Then I went into mediumship and Akashic records. It was weird. My name comes from the way that the spirit reached me because I wasn't very open to it. And the spirit kept dropping dimes everywhere. I kept finding dimes, and I'm going, why would I find dimes all the time? And I looked it up and Googled it, and it said dimes are the divine reaching out to you. Wow, that's cool. Why would they be reaching out to me? Then it was butterflies. I was getting all these signs that I need to wake up, that they're trying to get a hold of me and use me in some way. And that's how I woke up to my spirituality. Realized there's a whole different world out there. And the more I practiced, the more I learned, the more I came in tune with it. That's about it.
Great, great. Well, let's see. And I'll just mention briefly just about me. I'm Lorelai Shmayo. I run the MeWe Fairs. I don't do any mediumship. I'm an intuitive eye reader. I do what I call body psychology coaching, and I apply some of my work to matchmaking, and I will be more quiet during this panel. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about mediumship. So most people that are here today know what mediumship is. Maybe let's everyone go around and say a little bit more of what mediumship is, like how you see it, like the range that is considered, like just talk a little more conceptually about types of mediumship there is, what type of mediumship you do, maybe how you get the messages personally. Yeah, maybe say a little bit more about that. Do you only connect with people that have passed? Things like that. So yeah, we'll start with Dove Light and just go around. And how did you discover you were doing mediumship? You know, all those kinds of things.
Oh, okay. Mediumship. To me, mediumship comes from the word medium, as a medium for something to come through. We all naturally are mediums of life force. Life force has to come through our body, the higher intelligence, the chi, the ki. Some people call it mana, some people call it chi, some people call it ki, some people call it prana. But what we're talking of is life force. We are naturally channeling the life force through our breath. One of the sacred elements in the human existence, it's the air. What we mean by that, without the element of air, we will not be able to live in the human form, in this physical world. When you are born, your first breath of life is what brings you into the physical manifestation. And when you pass and transform to the other side, the last breath is the last thing that you will do for the physical body to function as as a human body. So we are naturally attuned for the energies to come in and to come out. I can feel that right now. So we can be a medium of expression. People think the spirit is only a spirit, like a ghost or an ally or an angel or something like that. But the non-physical part of this world, the consciousness, can also be considered spirit. In many Native American cultures, even thoughts, which have an energy, which can influence you, can even be considered spirit. So it is very important to be mindful that we live in a world of shadows and light. We live in a duality, polarity, oneness, and many things that you want to call it. But the point is that in this human experience, you're going to feel and know and learn and experience contrast. What does that mean? As we have people in the human realm who do things closer to the light or to the love or whatever you want to call it. There are people who are choosing to do things against the light or leave their light behind or do things that you will think this person has no feelings, no heart, no soul. Everything has a reason why. We're not going to judge, but we all have this part of free will. In the spiritual realm, as above, so below, as within, so without. There are many, many, many levels, dimensions of consciousness. There is the spirits or the energies who are from the higher realm. Higher doesn't mean that it's better. It means that they are in a more pacific, more loving, more joyful, more peaceful consciousness. And there are beings who are very the lower realm. So just in the way that you choose every day to wake up and to do things that make you happy or peaceful, or some people are passing through their soft lesson. When they wake up, they are grumpy, they are angry, they resentment. Just by doing that, they are choosing what type of energy is flowing through them. And I'm not saying that it is wrong to be angry, it is wrong to be sad, or it's wrong to be happy. That's part of the human experience. But we have the choice if how much we want to allow them in our life. Believe it or not, it feels like we don't, but we have. We can manage our emotions. So in this way, we can experience mediumship within our own self because our emotions are not really who we are. Our emotions are a gift that are being expressed to us. And when we express it, that's the most easier way to understand a little bit about what is mediumship in a perspective, what is mediumship. Now, how did I get interested in mediumship? Some people are born with the natural ability to connect to the spirits from the other side. Some people, especially children, are also attuned to it because they just coming from a spirit, but they close it down because they need to survive or they don't understand, they don't have guidance. Some people have this gift dormant because your own body, your own subconscious wants you to thrive in this world, wants you to make you happy. And if you are getting scared because you don't have guidance, because you saw a ghost or you saw something very not so nice, it's gonna become dormant for your highest good. Some people, no matter what you do, it never close. And what's the difference between one or the other? It is because of their soul contract, the lineage, the ancestral lineage which they were born. It has many things to play. There are people who are legitimately born with the soul mission to help others, to be a bridge for communication. And I just wanted to make sure that I do not want to romanticize mediumship or any spiritual or psychic ability. Because when you have the gift to see the people's light, because what I say before about this duality and oneness world, you will also have the ability to see people's shadows. You also will have the abilities to see darkness. Unless you truly start developing your connection with the divine, with your spirit guides, because we all have a spirit guides team behind us to help us, but you have to have the free will to ask them. It will be easier for you to navigate the realms of a spirit. And this is something why it is the best to really allow a spirit to guide you in the development. In my case, I always saw the mediumship like people connecting right away and this and that. And I found like, wow, that's amazing. In my personal case, it's not like that. I get regulated by above. So I always was scared to say that I'm medium because wait, what am I not feeling anything? Or what if somebody tells me to give a message and I cannot connect or it doesn't come? How will I know that? This didn't make me better or worse than anybody. This didn't take away from my mediumship. This is the way that my spirit guides, my connection to the divine, decide that it was for my highest good. Because I come from a background of emotionally and challenging childhood. And this is the tip that I want to give you. If you truly want to start to tap in connecting with the spiritual realms or the spirit, it is very important that you check on your emotional state because that's going to influence and interfere. when I used to be more conscious about my mediumship gift, I was in the seance, where the tables move. And because I was still emotionally healing, I allow um, earthbound spirits who died but didn't cross over to take over my body. And they will talk through me. And it was almost like therapy, because I was attracting the same vibration, because I was also in a sad state. And from that experience, I have a love to help people cross over. If I am able to identify spirits who passed away, I have no doubt that if you need to cross over, I will help you cross over. I will do that, because before I was scared. When I was not emotional in a good place, I was scared, like, oh, I don't want to see that. Oh, no, 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 don't bother me. But now, as I am growing in compassion, and this is something that you just don't say, you have to live through it. Now I understand that if a soul wants to cross over, it's just like somebody asking you for help. But now I'm more adult and more aware. There are also, when a little kid is born with this gift and the light, the spirits can also see the gift and the kid, and they can even bother the kid. But the kid, sometimes I see cases when they're very open and they don't want to be bothered by the spirits, and they picking on the kid, picking on the kid, picking on the kid. So in these cases, we can understand why the gift needs to be dormant, or why we need to support children. We listen to them, because it's not that some spirits are trying to bother the kid. It's just because you just died doesn't mean you become a saint. Just because you just went to the other side doesn't mean that you are wise from all the above. There are many levels of consciousness. And some people, when they don't know that they have died, or they die in a tragic way, part of their energy might still be in the limbo or in the middle world, and they need help. And sometimes the only way that they can see the help is through seeing through the light. And some people carry that light as a gift. So it's a lot of things to don't see it the stream, like without a lot of fear, and also without throwing yourself out there, feel, eat me, because that's not healthy. It has to be a balance. So that's what it is. In my personal case, I truly believe that we all have a level, a consciousness of the higher self that is always connected to the source, whatever you want to call the source. So no matter how good, how bad, how weird, how not so weird, how whatever you judge or not, we all come back to the divine, to the source, to the pound. We, all of us do. It's usually what we see as spirit bounds is part of their energy, but there is a level when everybody's already with the divine. And that's a little bit to open the topic. And so we're going to keep talking about different topics. I don't want to go too much over me, because there is some protection, some guidance. Also, you need to be aware when connecting to spirit. But yes, spirits are only one thought away. The moment you're thinking about your loved one, they already are getting the message.
It's great. And I want to say that you're talking about like shamanic work and mediumship, and so kind of the blending and the way they overlap and touch each other. Great. All right, Jennifer.
Hey everybody. And that's great, because a lot of that overlaps with what I teach people too, is that when you start to meditate and cross the veil and spend time in the spirit world, I always tell people you're lighting a little candle, and it's a light that the other side can see. And that's why it's important that you're doing all of your work too when you're on this side, that you're keeping yourself emotionally regulated, that you're doing spiritual hygiene and keeping your space properly cleansed and protected, and all the things as you learn to work. So that's fun that you say a light, just like I've always seen it. So for me, mediumship has to do often with hearing messages from other. And I say it that vaguely because it isn't always past people. Sometimes it's animals. Sometimes I even get messages from the trees or the wind. So it's all different ways. And a part of this journey has been learning to understand what it is that's going on and what's being communicated and where it's coming from, whether the other was someone's past ancestor or whether it's part of their spirit team. Learning to define those things and understand those things as you encounter them can be a big part of the journey. And just as Dove Light said, it isn't something that I have found I can flick on and off all the time, 100%. It is with practice getting better, but sometimes I have to tell people that, I'm not getting an answer. And I think that's because either the person's spirit team or the individual they're trying to contact isn't going to share. Whether you're asking the wrong question or you're not ready to hear the answers, there could be lots of reasons for those types of things, but that is something that happens on occasion. So that's what Dove Light covered an awful lot and did a really great job. So that's about all I have to add there.
Great. And I might ask some questions after we go around. Now go ahead, Echo.
So mediumship, to me, the only way that I can really explain it is it's like a mediator between two people that speak different languages. The one side can't understand what the other person's saying, and the medium is in the middle, kind of hearing the messages from one side and relaying it to the other, which is usually the loved one. That's kind of a simple way to say it, but that's how it's always felt for me. My gift is my sight. It's I see the spirit, and through sight, I'll hear messages, and it's all through sight. Um, I think it's very special. I know with me, I learned the Akashic records because there's different dimensions. Like we're considered in the life that we live, and Earth is the third dimension, and spirit lives on the fifth dimension and above, and it's crossing over. Some like Akashic records, we use a porthole, and Akashic records goes up to 20 dimensions. So it's all your vibration and your ability to be open. And sometimes you'll question what you're hearing. Like you'll go, is that me or am I really getting something wrong? No, you have to trust. Your first thing that comes to you is from spirit. And if you question yourself, like, wait, is you think through your heart, not through your head, the brain will play tricks on you, but the heart won't. And that's where the messages become really clear. For me, anyways. I think that's about it, Lorelai.
That's great. Maybe it's wind around and maybe Echo, have you start. And you each might have shared a little bit before, but how did you get started doing mediumship? Like, how did you realize that was part of your gifts? So I know Echo, I know a little bit more about your story. Maybe could you share?
Um, with me, it was like I said, I was being called, and I was nervous about being called, and I started um, with tarot cards. The tarot cards are really difficult to learn. Like there's 78 cards you need to memorize, and they're upside down. So there's a lot of work to it, and I wasn't doing so well. And I just felt the call to mediumship. And there's a lady that teaches a program. The best way is to learn through a good teacher. And the program, it was like about 12 weeks long, teaching you all the different aspects. And that's how I got involved in it. Because Spirit kept calling me to something else. Like even after mediumship, it took a long time to get decent at it. And then all of a sudden I get called to Akashic Records. But I'm finding out now that they feed each other, that somehow they get a picture together.
And say, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that sometimes, like I did a mediumship practice this afternoon, and the reading I did was more Akashic without realizing it. The spirit I picked up was in another lifetime. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, it's great. That's what I was starting to wonder. I think of like the medium is really this like in between.
Yeah.
Some of you have said, right? Just in between, and it might be someone that's passed, it might be its ancestor. In some ways, like the channeling that comes from guides, it's a version of a medium, right?
Yeah.
Mediumship practice too, right? So anything. Just the people that can read animals that are here now, like that's a form of mediumship, right? So it's all these ways of kind of pulling information through or
Yeah.
allowing information to flow through. Oh yeah, so Dove Light. I know you have so many different gifts. I don't know if you really shared like all these different kinds of things that you do, but like yeah, when did you realize you had gifts to share with people and and yeah, and how did mediumship show up in there?
Um, in my background, my childhood was very challenging. They taught me to be stressed and in fear more than to be calm. But I always was the weird one. I always would look at the stars. I always wanted to go above. I always have these dreams. Even as a little kid, I will dream with different times. I will dream with ghosts, people passing around, people that I don't know, but it was very lucid. It was very real. So when my brother, my I don't want to call it brother, when my relative used to put scary movies, I cannot even see them because I I can understand that at that time. I'm talking about when I was a little kid, legit a little kid, 7 years old, 5 years old, like really a little kid. If I will see something scary, I will be like very afraid because that reminds me of what I was sensing. There used to be areas in my house when it was very dark at night and I could sense it. It was a type of fear, but it was not my regular fear. It was my fear in something else. It was almost like there was something there jelly. I was able to see shadows. I was able to see things that regular people will think that you're crazy or you a child is only like just talking about. However, the spirits were so smart. They wait that until I fall asleep to give me the messages. I will dream with angels, with the divine. I will receive messages, numbers. Um, I remember very clear now that what in my teenage years later on, when I did more work when I came to this country. This is so funny. Like I say, I am not a know-it-all, and I don't have the last word on anything. I'm only talking about my experience. When I start taking these psychic development courses or things like that, everything that they spoke about, I already had experienced it. I was just like, oh, nice. It's like somebody was just putting words on what I had already lived through it. I have dreams now when I was getting older. When I legit in my dreams, I was entering into trance. In my dream, I have this feeling of the dimension shifting and everything changes. And after I got that, I was able to speak either with somebody who passed away or a spirit guy or something very, very like I don't know how to explain it with words, but it's like literally I am in another dimension. I think I do have these abilities to go into full trance, but because I was more restful or more receptive when I was sleeping, they use them when I was asleep. Also, that's how now that I become more aware, I knew there was. For example, few months ago, I was dealing with somebody that I used to really love, and I already knew the spirits has already told me that was not for my highest good, but I'm still human, you know. So I asked before going to sleep, I wonder if that was true love, and I fall asleep very deeply, and between the after 3 a.m. because in the Mayan culture they believe that the first hours of the night just is the mind getting like clear and the body's resting, but in the last hours of the night now you can really the body is ready to get dreams. And at around those times I dream with a grandfather who has passed away very clearly, and he was such a beautiful person. And in my dream I went into that trance state. I see everything shifting and moving, and he literally told me that was not true love, but it was so clear. This is something that I want you to understand. We all have the ability to communicate with the other side, with spirits and with different consciousness. But what it can never trick you is how they make you feel. Because there are lower vibration or dark things in the other side, and they can pretend that they are somebody else. How do you know? It's because you have to truly trust how you feel when you're connecting with them. And long story short, I know 1000% that I have mediumship abilities, but I have two things that I'm still working on. Oh, by the way, my love for connecting to spirits was so great that I spent more than 6 years also with the Umbanda. I didn't become from that religion because I choose not to have a religion. But this is like a Brazilian form of spirituality when they enter into trance and they allow the spirits to talk through them. And it was one of the most beautiful times in my life because it was like allowing myself to accept that this is something true. For some people, that you are able to connect with your spirits that you love, spirits that you trust, it's such a freedom. Like you're not crazy or you're not paying somebody or waiting for somebody to be the one who can communicate or the one you have to go through it. And many of the practitioners here are gifted and they can help you, but nothing, absolutely nothing is gonna beat or is gonna win over the feeling when you know from your heart you connect with your pet. When you know from your heart, you connect with your grandmother, with your father who passed away, with your angels. I can tell you easy, what's your spirit guide? What's your angel? I see this light, after this light. It is not the same as taking away from you your ability to connect with the divine, your ability to know who you are and to trust yourself. And that's one of the keys of mediumships, to truly know in your heart that you are not alone and you can connect. Once you accept that, then you can choose what you want to connect with or not, because there is free will. I'm telling you, mediumship is just like a form to express yourself. Some people legit has chosen to express it in a negative way, and that's their free will. Many people who have a struggle with addictions, who struggle with a negative behavior, you more thousand more I won't say 92, so that don't sound too weird. Percent of the time, they also have spirits who didn't cross over, who has the same addictions. Maybe they don't know that they die. When a spirit pass away but doesn't cross to the light because of their own reasons, there are spirits who don't want to cross for their own souls, they don't want to cross for their own reasons. They don't have a human body, and you need a human body to live in the human world. So the chakras doesn't work the same. So they need to feed on emotions. So this is why in order for them to have some energy, to some food, if I die from a drug addiction because I was in that state, but I choose not to change, I choose not to care for whatever reason, I'm going to attach to somebody or I'm going to influence somebody who also is passing through an addiction just for me to feed off their energy, because I cannot eat physical food. I have to eat the emotion. This is why it is very important for anyone here who is very interested in working with any type of energy, any type of spirits, to learn protection and cleansing. They're very, very simple techniques, and there are many levels to do so. And this is one of the examples. I'm not blaming the spirits on your behavior and your choosing. I'm not saying that. But there are cases when there are spirits who have a negative behavior when they are alive, they will attach to people who they can feed on. This happened also to me when I was younger. I was all the time very angry and very like resentful for my own reasons. And when I came to this country, I didn't know English. And I started cursing in words that I didn't know. Literally, I have to Google what the bless am I saying. I didn't pick it up from a movie. I didn't pick it up from a book. I stopped and I was like, I don't say that. I don't even know what does that mean. So that was key moment that I understand I'm channeling this. From what? And then I was like, no, this is not me. This is something that wants to influence me because they want to use me like a snack because I'm very gift. No, I'm not say I'm open to energies, but I'm using it in the lower consciousness of my emotions that were not regulated at that time. So basically, I was also dealing with my own grieving and sadness, and the spirits who knew they could eat and feed on that, they want to keep me in that. And that happened to many people who are walking the spiritual path, because the spiritual path doesn't mean that everything is perfect, that everything is light, that you're going to be happy all the time. No. Spiritual path means there are going to be ups and downs in life, but you are choosing to have faith, to ask for help to the spirit and take action and move forward. That's what is the spiritual path. And there are energies that don't want you to, because like I said, there is a work of shadow and light. They don't want you to move forward. They don't want you to be the light. They don't want you to do that. And they're going to try to influence you. However, the stronger your faith, the more discipline you have with your practices, even if it's something praying to Archangel Michael or the deity that you believe can protect you, or to your spirit guides, please, or the purple light, the Shekinah Holy Spirit, whatever you do for protection, for calling, for guidance, for blessing, they connect you to the source. That's one of the best protections. And that's very important to be a little bit disciplined on that, because that is like a butter, repels away all these things that are trying to get to you. And like I say, some of them they don't do it on purpose. They don't want you to be in the light, and other ones they just want to eat. Literally, they just want to eat. So that's a little bit of by the way, angels see the light of the divine within you, because if you are alive, if you have consciousness, that means that you have a tiny spark of the source. They always will protect that and love that. So unconditional love and unconditional protection is protecting you through that light. They see that light. So please never feel like, oh, I didn't do my homework, or I didn't do a good job at my job, or I failed in life, nobody loved me, that no. Even if you feeling like that, you can still ask the source for guidance. You can still ask the source for protection. You can still have hope for yourself, because sometimes the lesson there is to have more compassion for yourself. How many souls have the soul contract to learn about forgiveness? How are you going to learn to forgive yourself if you don't make mistake? You see, that's the lesson. You're not perfect. Nobody perfect. I feel like I'm speaking too much. I'm a natural channeler. That's why. Okay, I pause now. I pause.
No, that's great. I'm trying to think about like what topics we haven't touched on so far. So I know Jennifer, have you say some things, and then if no one's talked about evidential mediumship and how that's different from other types of mediumship, that would be a good thing you could maybe say a little bit about. But yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
Not,
Well, I say share a little bit more about how you open to mediumship, if you have
okay.
Everything, and then you might say something else about evidential mediumship, or I'll ask more questions about that in a moment.
Okay. How I opened to it, it was just sort of a gradual thing. I didn't necessarily pursue it. And when it started to happen, it actually made me kind of nervous and concerned. So I contacted a friend who's a channel to talk to her about it, because the way I voiced it to her, I said, well, I don't want to be one of those people who I'm just trying to get my grocery shopping done, and while I'm standing trying to pick out an apple, there's a spirit tapping my shoulder like, you have to go talk to that lady, you have to go talk, so that I'm the crazy person approaching everybody, in Safeway with messages from loved ones. And so when I spoke with my friend, she said, look, you don't have to be scared of this. She said, we've known each other for years, so she already knew a lot about my practice, and said that I had a lot of I's dotted and T's crossed, and that I was good in a lot of ways. And she said, and then set boundaries. She said, just like you do with the living people, you set boundaries with the channels and the things that are coming in, and you just tell them in your mind, like, nope, not right now. I am not doing this right now. I'm not delivering messages right now. I'm not doing, so that you can put a stop on things when they're kind of tapping you on the shoulder, or tapping you on the shoulder, smacking you in the back of the head, those kind of things as you get it. Yeah. I mean, it can be like that sometimes. And for me, Echo talked a bit about his is a visual, that he has visual cues. I've always been an empath, so I get feelings and emotions and senses, which took me a while to learn the intricacies and the details between the two. Because, like fear and love and joy and anger, they all have a lot of different shades to them and a lot of different ways that they can, fear can be anxiety based. It can be the actual terror of a physical accident. It can be, so there's lots of ways that those can be interpreted. And so to learn how those felt in my body, how I sensed them, was part of my journey. And then I moved from there into colors. I can sometimes see colors. I don't see a lot of other things necessarily, colors and sometimes shapes. And I don't know, I haven't ever figured out a way how to explain, because I hear words, but I don't hear actual words like somebody talking. It's a weird kind of knowing where I know the phrase or the sentence, but it's not like I heard it or read it. I just know and sometimes that those are the ones that'll really be kind of knocking on the back of my head, where it's over and over. And I will literally look at someone in the middle of the reading and I'm like, I'm just going to say the crazy thing because it makes no sense to me, but they will not stop. And 99% of the time, the other person's face changes and they can't even believe, and they're so shocked. And I'm like, that sentence makes absolutely no sense to me, but I'm glad it makes sense to you. Write it down because it was meant for you. So those are a little bit of how some of the experiences can express themselves and show up for me as I've gone through this journey.
Well, and that I think starts to tap a little bit into the evidential mediumship like category. And then when Devlight was sharing, I was thinking a little bit of, because I think Devlight was sharing like the feeling when you're connecting with like your person or your animal, or like how do you know when you're connected to someone else's person or animal? Like how do you know that it's the right being? And then I think evidential is just like I think it's just like where there's evidence, like there's something that you're able to bring through that the other person knows you're really connecting with them. So it's something that you wouldn't know any other way, like, and such details that, all right, is that correct generally, like the evidential kind of category?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how those show up. Yeah. And for me, it's a knowing. There's a really solid honesty to it when I have connected to something. I'm not sure how else to identify it. If you guys have better verbiage than
But
that,
it's okay. It sounds
it's
like
just, it's really clear.
it's a very particular feeling when it's the right
Yeah.
connection for you.
Yeah. That you've learned. And then the evidential things can come up. Like I might be talking to someone and trying to explain to them, and that there's someone coming across, and then all of a sudden it's yellow flowers. And I'll look at them and I'll go, who loved yellow flowers? And immediately they know who it is. So it's odd things like that that come through. And my guess, my assumption when I'm doing it is that the person had enough doubts, and the entity, whether it was a spirit guide or an ancestor, whoever who was communicating through me, heard their doubts and wanted to help make sure they knew that this was the truth, and that they needed to listen to what I was sharing, what I was the voice box for. So,
And I'll say too, like the person that's here on this plane now and whatever other being they're connecting to, like both have to be willing for the connection to really flow through. And what else was I going to say? There was something else. Um, and sometimes, right, sometimes there's a journey of attempting to connect with a particular being, and sometimes beings show up with messages, and then you're checking to see if the other person wants to know it's here, right? So the translation or it can get initiated from either direction, I guess.
That
Yeah, and you all can jump in. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that was what I was taught, was evidential mediumship. That's what I learned, the program that I was in. So what it is we work through guides. I don't know if we've explained that enough. We each have three guides, and we work through our guides to help us in communicating. And when it comes to get some evidential, when you want to show the person that you're reading for that, hey, I am really talking to your loved one, and you ask them for a sign or anything to just that they would know. and then you'll get something that you'll relay something. I know, for an example, for one that I said there was a lady wanting a message from her dad, and I said, he used to push you on a swing by a certain tree. And you said, do that. And that she resonated with that. Yeah. So it could be something that simple, that connection between the two of them is that thing that you're talking about.
Right. And I imagine that when that person feels that, they probably open that much more and more of the messages flow through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also wanted to say that you touched into something very interesting about mediumship. The spirits in the other side, they also have to, I don't want to say work hard, but they also have to learn, retrain, practice, get it together to say, because the spirit vibration, it's not physical, so it's running through a different frequency. Now that they have spirits, they have to pass it through someone who has a physical form. So that's actually what you were talking about. They literally have to do their own effort to study, to practice, to know in the other side, in the astral cities, how to send a symbol, a message to the medium, so the medium can pass it over. Like it's like a translator, yes. And the medium usually has the ability to raise the frequency to the more, to connect to the more spiritual. So, and the spirit is lowering a little bit so they can meet there. So this is why it's very important, like Jennifer was saying, when a spirit give you a message, even if it doesn't make sense to you, to trust it and give it, because the spirit, we have to honor that he's doing the best he can to send that message for you to say it. So we should not dismiss it. And this is also practice. And that brings to the key of mediumship. The most higher frequency, it's love. I know it sounds cliche. I'm not talking about human love. Real, truly love. That love that you feel of somebody that you truly have love or have shown love to you. That love that makes you feel accepted. When you can tap into that love without judging yourself, okay, I was a good person, bad person. No, just tap into that love, that frequency. And if your intention is through that love to connect, to be of service, of to help, then you will be able to have a more, I don't want to say easier, but more better space for the connection to happen, because now you are connecting with intention. The same thing we can say to the opposite. If you have mediumship abilities that you don't know, or you have the tendency to be able to tap, and if you keep yourself all the time being resentful, being angry, being jealous, being envious, which is normal to experience in this world, but you have to be conscious that that vibration is going to carry you to connect with things that will not be for your highest good. And like I say, it's your choice, but you don't want to, you want to, you want to have peace. For example, I was having insomnia a few days ago, and I just closed my eyes and I saw a demon or a lower vibration, and I don't want to scare people. And I was like, what is this thing in my space? In my, like, what is this going? I was like, I literally said out loud, no, I don't want you in my space. I don't know if you are a hallucination because I cannot sleep. I don't know if you coming to visit. I don't know if you just attracted to my life. I don't care. No, I literally say out loud, no. And I did the most basic thing that I'm telling you. I trust the angels, because to me the angels are like the God's love in this realm. I call Archangel Edgar, Archangel Zadkiel, this and that. Please protect me, bless me, cleanser. Do not allow anything from my highest good to be in my space. I pray, really pray, and then I went back. 2 days after, I forgot because it was very late at night when I said that. I was just tired. Days after, I closed my eyes before trying to fall asleep, and I felt an angelic presence very strongly. I saw their light. It was showing me some notes. It was having a book. It was next to a lake. And I was like, open, it's not there. Close, is there. Oh, okay, it's you're there. And I feel so much peace just to tap. And I was wondering, what's going on here? And I didn't click it together because this happened very late night. the next day or the next few days, I this is why I saw this angelical present, because 2 3 days ago I called for help and they actually listened and they actually took away that negative energy and they actually stayed there to protect me. So, what you really say to the divine with intention, what you give out to the universe will bring it to you. And that was my lesson, because I'm a human being and I can be involved in all spirituality, but I forgot sometimes too. I have to be reminded to be asking for help. And that was a very interesting experience, to be honest. That you do not take for granted the ability that you have for us to ask for help. And yes, evidential medium, this is actually one of my, I don't want to call it fear, but my concerns, because I've seen so much cases where people are desperate to connect with their loved ones. They are sad, they miss them, they feel guilty, they feel like they were not there for them. All their human emotion, because it's normal in a grieving state. And I've seen people who can take advantage of that. And they people who do take advantage of that. And I do not want to become like that. That's what I'm still learning, how to navigate my own gift before I fully completely say I'm a medium or this and that. So maybe I will never go to that point. But I am very cautious that there are actually people out there that if you present as a medium, you have the responsibility to be truthful to your limitations as a medium, as well as what the spirits can give you, and you can honor it. Because sometimes we can, if we have to put ourselves away from the message that somebody's giving us. I think I should, I could. That's more like doubting, which is normal when you're practicing, but then be truthful, you are practicing. Then this is showing me this specific dog that has this black eye in this way, and it's turning around and it's moving the right leg to ask for a pet. That's very specific evidential, and it will make sense for that person. Then why is this dog showing me? Or should we talking about pets? Maybe you did have a pet, maybe not. Sometimes it does work like that, but it's different than putting out of your own thinking mind, which the mind is also helpful for mediumship. But if you go too much to the extreme of the rationalization, you're taking away from what the spirit eventually wants to say, like even if it doesn't make sense to you. So that is, again, how you learn these things. You have to experience them, you have to practice, you have to navigate. Yeah.
Well, and I want to clarify too, just for this panel, it's free to ask general questions. If you want to ask a personal question, there is a fee. And there was a general question that we got that you started to touch into a bit. So maybe let me just read this. It says, what are some of the main things to have in our daily spiritual hygiene to ensure we are protected while still open to receive messages and signs? And so, Dovelight, you've talked about some of the kinds of things you do. I think you've all maybe talked a little bit. Maybe can you each say something else about that? What are some of the practices that you do, or what are some of the other practices you recommend for people that are getting started? Or
I
Oh, go ahead, Echo.
myself, I do a very simple thing before I do any work, and that is I connect myself with divine and ground myself in the earth. And there's lots of ways that you can do that. Me, I envision a light coming, a white light coming all over me, and then I picture myself putting something in the ground that attaches to something in the earth. And that accomplishes both, protects you plus keeps you grounded.
and what is the particular visual? Like I'm looking at the background of Jennifer, right? So that's a little bit like some of what you bring in. Like what is the flavor of? I mean, each person can create their own, but can you say a little bit more about yours, what you do?
You talking
That
to
was for you,
Jennifer?
Echo. Yeah, sorry, Echo, that was you.
Oh, okay. Uh, it's just the visual is seeing yourself sit. I visualize myself sitting by a lake, sitting up against a tree, and I'm looking up with my face up, and I'm letting the sun come down and hit me on the face, and I can feel it warm me up, and it just soaks into my whole body. It's divine light and it's protection. And you ask for Saint Michael to be there to protect you. His light is usually blue. And then you attach yourself to earth. I'll imagine a wire going off my legs, going down into the earth, cutting deep down in the earth and wrapping it around something in the earth. So I'm secured to the earth and I'm secured with the vine.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, thanks for describing more of that. Yeah, anyone else want to share a little bit, like what are the practices that you do or any other recommendations you have for people?
Sure. So main things for daily spiritual hygiene. So for me, all of my practices are very much tied to my faith and my beliefs. And as such, you connect to whatever your faith and your beliefs are, and that's part of how I do it. So whether it's the gods, whether it's a primordial energy, whether it's going to be the archangels, whether it's going to be Mother Mary, whatever your definition is of something that is holy and pure and will protect you and love you in in that way that only the gods do once you've talked to them. That's the thing that then you can always call in at any moment when you need them. You build a little bit of a relationship. When I first started, it was very basically just like Echo said, where it was like, God send a white light to save me. And literally then you are suddenly bathed in like a spotlight, and it is warm and safe and full of love. I have also done where I envision a white pyramid and put yourself inside a pyramid, like if you've ever meditated under one of the copper pyramids with the copper piping, where I can set myself in a pyramid and say, no, this is not what we're doing, and then I set back down in the pyramid, and that's my visual at that point. And then for me, since I work with various gods, I might call in whatever gods I'm working with at that point. So I might call Hecate or Pan or someone else who I'm working with, and call them in to be there with me and to support me and to help me in that moment. That's kind of the pull the emergency cord. So before that, you would have set yourself up, hopefully, with a safe space. Just like Echo said, where you start out and you take a moment to get centered. You take a moment to know that this is my space and this is the safety. For me, because I work with energy, I will literally push my energy out into a little globe that's around me and set it as a space, and even say out loud, this is my bubble and this is where my power sits, and nothing that will harm me can come here. All those who speak to me will come only for my higher good. You can say any of those sorts of things and keep your bubble set, keep your space set. You can see it as a egg around yourself. That's another way to see it. Put yourself in a translucent egg to have a bit of protection and have a bit of what you need. So those are the practices when you set it up. Now, I also remember to take them down when I'm all done. So I thank my guides, I thank the beings, I thank whatever I interacted with for coming and sharing their knowledge with me, for giving me guidance, for helping me out, and bid them farewell. Stay if you will, go if you must, kind of thing. And then go ahead and open up the energy again so that I'm free from my house, I guess it is, so that you can be back within the world. You don't want to live always in a bubble. So those are, let me see, I think that might give some of the answers. As far as daily contact, like I said, I tend to keep boundaries up, that it's only when I call and center myself and focus myself, so that I don't have communications going on all the time. There are very rare times in my life when I'm actually on retreat or doing intensive work that I kind of stay open all the time. And that's always it's an interesting experience to walk with one foot in both worlds. But I don't think it's where I'd want to live all the time. So.
And you gave an example about removing whatever you set up. There probably are other ways that you cleanse or clean, like in terms of energy hygiene, after you've worked with someone. Right?
Yeah, after I've worked with someone, I make sure that my tools are cleared. For me, often it's sound with my cards. I knock on them and then take a moment. I'll blow on them sometimes. Other items, I might pass them through some smoke. I like sandalwood is one of my favorites. Sandalwood or frankincense to pass items through for some cleansing. And usually that's good enough to get things cleared. If I'm working in a brand new space, like if I'm at a fair or another location, I take a little bit of time when I'm grounding and focusing and centering myself that I energetically clear the space before I set myself up and open up my bubble, my protection, my setups. When I'm at home, I don't have to put that much energy into it because it's generally cleared. Because you do it like monthly, quarterly, yearly, depending on what your schedule is, to clear your space and just keep your energy yours and happy and joyous and ready.
Great, great. If anyone else wants to say something about that too, go ahead.
I feel like Jennifer mentioned something very important about trust. One of the main things to have in your daily spiritual hygiene to ensure you are protected is your faith. That you can put a color, you can put an amulet, you can put a prayer, you can call upon an angel, but if you don't have that faith, that knowing, like I know I am protected, I know I am loved, I know that this is working, you have that inner knowing that faith, it will work. It will work because, like I say, we live in a world of shadows and light. That it's part of the experience here is to interact. Even if you're passing by the subway or by a train station, you know you have to live your human life. You're going to feel many different energies, but you need to know that what you are doing it's working for you. Once you have that faith, when you develop with the trusting, with nothing can beat up your own relationship to the divine. That's the main thing. That's gonna help you a lot. There are many things. For example, any like she say, any prayer to any ally spirit guides that you trust. Some people put an armor. Some people, I work with the Shekinah Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was beyond religion, will be after religion, is being here before humankind. So I truly love the Holy Spirit. Shekinah Holy Spirit, the purple, the violet flame, are called Archangel Michael. I work the Magian path. They have the house C, which is guardian's protector. But I'm mentioning names not because, oh, I have to go find out who is this, who is that. It is not about that. I'm giving you an example that if you feel called to work with an energy, with an element, with an angel, with the deity, with a symbol, and if you start cultivating your relationship with it, and you start trusting it, it's going to work for you because you do have the ability. I love to use the Merkaba, the two pyramids in top and at the bottom. I always visualize them coming together and moving in circles around me and blessing me and protecting me. And I'm glad. Thank you. They're saying also gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude. Gratitude can take you from depression. Gratitude can make a very not so nice situation better. Thank God I didn't fall from the stairs. So thank God this is not worse. Thank God. Oh, thank divine. Thank flowers. Thank you for my food. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my body. I might not have the perfect health, but guess what? I can still see. I can still hear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What you give out to the universe, it will come back to you in one way or another. The more grateful you are, even if you just start saying thank you for just because thank you, it's gonna come back to you in a protection form as well. Very important also, amulets. This works for me because this one is from my ancestry, something from my own ancestry. I have many things. I have my Maya moon birthday because I know I was born with that. I have Saint Benedict. Saint Benedict, has in the human consciousness, Saint Benedict, I don't know, in Spanish we call it San Benito. Saint Benedict, he knew some chants for exorcism. So there is a consciousness there which is connected to protection. I have the hand of Fatima or the Hamsa hand, which is very powerful. I also have the witch, I don't know how to call this in English either, but this is from the Celtic. I don't know if you can see that. everything that I'm putting here has an intention, has a blessing, has a prayer. That's why it's just putting because it looks so nice, looks so pretty. No, because like I told you, sometimes you might pass through places, through people who are depressed, who are angry, who are resentful, who are sad. They can lower your vibration. Sometimes they can drain you, and other times people are just mean, to be honest. Why she's so happy all the time? Why she's mine? Ha, but maybe she doesn't have time to pay the bills. What they're doing in the energetic realm, they are throwing darts at you. They are not conscious. And one of the ways that you can protect yourself is through the amulets, because when you pray over them, when you bless them, they either grab it for you or they break to protect you, depending. And this is not only humans, there are also spirits out there. God bless us and always protect us so we never pass through a haunted place or something like that. They might want to call your attention. And having amulets with intention, this is the key word, intention, will help you to be protected from people's energies, from spirit energies, from places. Oh, thank you. This is not, they're coming, they're not telling me. There are places in nature. There are places like archaeological ruins from the past that has been used specifically as energetic sites. It is very important that when you enter a place like that, or if you enter nature, you do a prayer of permission and protection to the beings who live there. Because if you don't do that, then you might not have the natural protection that you might have if you don't do that. In a way, there are ancestral spirits there, and like I say, there are many different levels. And when you pray and you ask permission to enter a natural site, archaeological site, then you are being acknowledged. Hey, this person sees me, I see you, you are welcome. And this is true life story. For example, I'm from Machu Picchu, I'm from Peru, in which people has actually died or has been lost in the jungle because they think it's just a game. But these sites, ancestral sites, has been used for energy purpose for generation to generation. So the energy is very concentrated. The spirits are alive there. The mountains, the trees, they get into the animals. So one of the very simple way is to honor the everything in nature is alive. And if you're going there, it doesn't cost anything. Hey, permission to enter with respect. That's it. Good enough. It's gonna make a difference. Sometimes they will even show you nice things and places. And I feel like that, just have faith, trust the divine, whatever works for you, call upon your spirit guides, has amulets, check on your emotions, because like I say, sometimes when you get caught up in a situation that's not for your highest good, you might attract things or things might get into you. So it's not about being perfect. We are not meant to be perfect. It's just about to be aware that we live in a multidimensional being within a multidimensional world with many different things going on there. And that's it. I think I speak a little bit of that. Well,
Great, great. Yeah. And Echo, if there's anything you want to share about.
Yeah, I was going to say, like everything that we've all said is right as far as protection goes, and is really good advice. But I think there's another thing that's kind of healthy to remember is negative spirits feed off fear. And sometimes we can make ourselves paranoid. And I tend to like to think that we're healthy about our practices and we keep it healthy, but we keep in mind that we're also someone that's very strong in our field. We're not weak, we're strong, and we have guides to protect us, and we have everything else that we call down. So I just want people not to be paranoid or fearful of it.
Great, great. And maybe I'll just mention briefly an experience I had just yesterday. And I'm thinking that I was picking up like negative entities, energies. And I'm someone that picks up a lot of things through my body, and I also feel things. And so I had a big body and feeling experience. I'm moving, so I went to go look at a house. When I pulled up by the house, I was like, ooh, something just doesn't feel right. So I had just the feeling, and I think I got some body sensations about that too. But I'm kind of a little stubborn sometimes. I'm like, okay, I want to just go see the house. I'm here. I want to go see. So I kind of braced myself a little bit walking in, and then when I walked in, and I picked it up initially as a smell, and I'm called it like a super smeller, where I'm really sensitive. So I'm thinking I might pick up things this way too. And um, it just smelled so bad. And I think that I immediately kind of tightened and I only let things in so much. So I did a version of shielding, walking through, which I could have done more beforehand in hindsight. And so I walked through pretty quickly, and then I like got out and like breathed more deeply, like fresh air, and then I went back in and with the idea of like, okay, let me smell more, like and try to figure out what this really is. So I went back in and let myself take a deeper breath to try to sort it, and then I immediately just started. My whole body was just like going, like it was really intense, and just expelling stuff, and so I left immediately, and but yeah, so a really big response. So I'm thinking I had a nice big interaction with it. It smelled so horrible in there. It was very, very strong. So I think I was also picking up a bunch of other energies. So that's a place where I don't like think of myself as someone that's like sensitive and picking that up, but I think I was in this case picking it up. And yeah, and just the different ways my body was responding to get rid of the things that I did not want. So yeah, so just anyone can be having these kinds of experiences and be engaging in these ways and just not necessarily know.
Yeah, that's
All
right.
Yeah,
right.
and it's also important to be aware that you have the right to say no. Just like the spirit sometimes tells you, hey, don't go out with that person that he doesn't. Maybe your grandma comes and say, don't go out with that person. He looks like a not good man for you. And you'll be like, okay, and let me go out with that person. The same way you can say no to divine guidance because we're human. You can say no to these negative spirits or negative thoughts or negative energies. Edgar Casey said that if you say it out loud, you tell them no, they go away, they listen because you also are a spirit. And the reason why I mentioned this topic so much about protection and awareness is because there are many TikTok videos out there, YouTube, of people do a candle, call this energy, do this, do that. And no, you actually are opening yourself, feeding yourself, giving yourself like a free napkin. And that's how you make be sick, or how some people might have tendency to mental illness and they're not grounded. That's why I bring in awareness. But like I say, just like you can, I don't know, like wish bad to somebody, somebody is envious of wishing bad to you, you can also bless. I'm grateful. Thank you, divine. I am so happy for this. Thank you for my life. I bless you, my dog. Please have a good time at the park. Thank you, God, divine. I say God not because of religion, it's because it's one name of the divine. There's nothing wrong with the God word, it's just what they use it for. And that's a blessing. You, as a divine light of God, you can bless. If you don't have a shaman, a guru, or somebody to do your amulets, put your hands there and say, thank you for my life, with sincerity. What the spirits listen, it's your heart, it's the energy. That's what's the important. So just if you trust yourself, you have your faith and you're confident, this is the type of, and you're open to receive messages, this is the type of guidance which they're gonna guide you. And I'm not joking to you, there are things out there, they can fit on you. So but the most important is that you don't give your power away. Also, there are many readers out there, like I say, that take advantage of people who are emotionally not stable to pretend that they're giving you message from the other side and not. But one of the ways that you can really avoid these things is first trust your vibe. Like Lori said, she was not feeling good in that house. Take a moment to breathe and know, am I feeling good with that person? Is this person is telling me what I want to hear or the reality? And second, if you have a loved one who truly care and love about you in the other side, will that person want you to pay thousands of dollars in order to get a free clearing from a course that doesn't even exist, or to give you a message? No, they give you a free message, free 99 when you go to sleep. Spirits on the other side take advantage when you're sleeping because they dream, they make you dream, or they give you symbols, and that's free 99. You just have to be open to it. Like a little bit of that.
That's great. That's great. Okay, let's see. And I want to make sure, oh, well, let me get a response. recognize that should not. Oh yeah, that's great. It's like I'm not quite sure. Recognize that should not have listened to them when they first warned us. Oh, just sometimes we don't listen. Yes, sometimes we get warnings and we don't listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, the opportunities are to learn to listen and to pay attention. Yeah. Well, let's see.
There's
So,
also,
sorry, say it
sorry,
again. Go
I
ahead.
said there's also a lighter side to this too. Even though everything's very serious, my guides happen to be practical jokers. And for instance, I was sitting here one time having coffee in the morning, and all of a sudden my Apple thing starts talking to me. All right, all right. And I'm going, I never said anything. And the other night I'm going to bed, I turn the light switch off and I turn around, walk away, and it comes on again. That's just my guides, the way they have of saying, hey, we're here and joking around.
Yep. And someone asked, do you also cross over stuck spirits? And yeah, Dovelight was talking about that earlier. Dovelight does. So
Yeah.
some practitioners do. Yeah. Do all three of you or just some? Just
No, I don't.
Dovelight.
No, I
Okay.
have not.
Okay. Yeah.
I
So those,
I do. I was scared of that. I was very scared of that. As in general, as there was a time in my life, and I have the experience of a mouse. I'm scared of mouse too. There was mouse in my kitchen. Somebody put like the sticky thing, and I just came from a retreat, from a spiritual retreat with the Holy Spirit and God in upstate New York in the forest. And the mouse was crying and screaming for the dear life. And I have to touch that I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be close to the mouse. But I was able to, that's my human. I'm human. But I was able to, because I just came from the being in nature in the retreat, I was able to understand the mouse clearly. He was asking for help. And this is when I say that we have to walk our talk. We don't talk about being nice. We don't talk about being perfect. We have to do it. We have to take action. We have to make choices, you know. And if you don't are not ready to make those choices, then it's okay. But you have to grow. You know, have to learn eventually. So I have to put all my energy into getting that. Have to Google how to bring olive oil with a little stick and take out the mouse leg and free it on the garden and put some cacao, because cacao gives any type of rodent a lot of energy. And I let the mouse rest, and the mouse then left, and so he was alive. He was able to get it. But I don't want to be close to mouse or rats, but I had to do it out of compassion. And why am I giving you this example? Because that day I was able to really feel it, that if there is a spirit who wants to go home, and I have the ability to identify, because you need to be able to identify the spirit who wants to go home. If you're not able to see it or communicate or see it or how, you're not going to be able to do so. But if I am able to do it and this person is ready, why will I not do it? Just like the mouse. So there is a moment when love and compassion go stronger than my own fear. And this is something that I'm passionate about. It is not that I'll do it all the time, but I'm conscious that if I call my spirit guides, if I tap into it, if I'm able to navigate in the spiritual realm and cross it over, call the light, call their family, they're ready, I will do it, no problem. I'm also learning that not everybody wants to cross over, and there's also ways to tell them, no, thank you. And because some people are not ready. There was actually an example in the fair, in one of the midwife fairs, somebody wanted to see if the person in her house crossed over. And I was tapping into this person's dimension, tapping and tapping. And they tell me, no, we're going to put this in a better place, but she's going to not cross over. And later on, many weeks later or something like that, this person told me that that woman was alive. Other media has told her that she was hunting her home. And now it's like, okay, you see, I cannot force this. I cannot make this up. This is why they were telling me that they were gonna put her in a higher vibration state, as in a mood, but she was not gonna cross over. And they told me that when this woman will cross over, they will let the person know. So this is about trust, because I don't know this lady, and I didn't know. She just told me, another medium told me there is a spirit trapped in my house, and I just step in. But this is why I was telling you, it's not crossing over. It's just gonna be in a more better state, but it's not crossing over. Guess what? She wasn't dead. She wasn't dead. So this is not about, once again, this is not about you. It's about being of service, navigating, and trusting. Okay, I think I say that.
That's great. That's great. I want to remind everyone how the panel works. So general questions, like some of you have asked, are fine. Those are free. And then if you'd like to have the panelists speak to you about a personal question, it might be someone that you want to connect with, or you might want to just find out who's here that might want to connect with you. There's a small price to do that. You can, let's see, so it's 20, 24, 28. You choose sliding scale, or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. There are several ways to pay. They're listed here in the chat. You can pay with one of our Humanitics events, the Humanitics event on the web, or PayPal or Venmo. So if you want to ask a personal question, just let me know, pay ahead, let me know when you've paid, and we'll address your question. Well, yeah, we're happy to do that. We hope to have some questions, and we'll just see. So there's a number of you here, and one person in the chat earlier mentioned something that could be a personal question. Again, so you choose what you pay, 20, 24, 28, or $12 for BIPOC folks, and that's something that we can do. Yeah, great. So yeah, let us know if you'd like to do that. And any other general questions? If anyone has general questions about mediumship or the different types of topics that we've been wandering into, we're happy to address that also. And again, if you want to ask a question, you can come up on stage, you can ask from your chair, and you can ask completely anonymously. Do you need to be under hypnosis for past life regression? Okay, a different topic, but I guess going into past lives and ancestors and all these kinds of things. Yeah, go ahead. Whoever wants to jump in and answer. I saw heads shaking.
Well, I could answer from Akashic Records standpoint. You don't need to be under hypnosis, but there's a lot of work in getting yourself to a level of vibration, and go to the Akashic Records that has all your past lives, has everything that's ever your spirit has ever been through. It's all recorded there.
Great. Yeah, and then Jennifer Della, I saw you shaking your heads. Yeah, what do you want to say?
The question was, do you need to be under hypnosis for past life regression? Absolutely no. What you need to do is be ready. And also, you cannot cheat your subconscious. You cannot cheat your soul. You will be allowed to see or to know something that you are ready to see or to know, because the gift is in the present moment. And the reason why we're allowed to check on our past life is if it's going to help you in the evolution in this present life. What does that mean? If you have a karma, for example, with I don't want to call it dog, that's the easy way, dog. In a past life, you kill many dogs because whatever reason, and you have a karma in this lifetime with dogs where you will have the tendency to help dogs or work in a dog shelter and things like that. You have the free will to do it or not, because the calling will be there. Now, like I say, if you choose to do so and you choose to do the best you can with love and compassion because you feel like there is something with the dogs that you need to do so, you don't need to know your past life of whatever you did with the dogs in the present moment. If in a past, this is very current, if in a past, I love past life, by the way. I learned with Brian Weiss, but I also knew my past life as a child by dreaming them. If you have a soul contract or a soul person which you are romantic, like partners, marriage, one lifetime you're the guy, the other lifetime you're the woman, or vice versa, and things like that, basically romance. And if this lifetime you meet, you might feel the pull to be together, but if you are not meant to be together, things are not going to align, and you might feel like, I know I have a past life with this person. Yes, but you don't need to know your past life to understand that in this lifetime there is something that is not in alignment. I say this example because many people in many of my readings, they say that they feel that they have met this ex-lover, this ex-boyfriend, this ex-girlfriend in a past life, and that might be true, but maybe in this lifetime you are not aligning, you are not in the same soul, so in the same soul lesson, you are not even in the same values. Maybe this person is choosing to be a player and be with alcohol, and you want to do yoga and be more meditation and peaceful and be alcohol free. Even if you feel that pulling of recognizing a soul from a previous life, what counts, what is the gift, what is the growing is in the present moment. So do you need to do only in past life regression? No. You need to be very grounded, and also you have to be open of what your soul, what your subconscious is ready to give you, because your subconscious is not going to show you anything that you're not ready to give you. I've been specifically wanted to clearly see certain past life when I was a witch or a healer or something, and not allowed to do that yet. I have seen cleanses, and the reason why is they told me that I'm not ready. And usually because those lifetimes are when they burn me alive, they literally cut me and mutilate me and whatever you want to wish to. Is that for my highest good to know? No. Do I need to know that? Like I say, if it's for my highest good, what's more important that at this moment, I'm in an holistic event, talking about holistic stuff, helping people, you see? It's not important that I remember if I was a healer or not, as much that in this lifetime, I have the calling to be involved in spirituality, and I'm doing it. Even if I'm not allowed to see my previous past lives when I was into witchcraft, into healer, into shamanic, that's what I say. If you're allowed to tap into your previous life for whatever reason, it's a gift, it's a blessing, and there has to be a connection to how it can help you evolve in the present moment. So please don't feel bad if you specifically are looking for something. It's always better off to be open to what your soul wants to give you or your spirit wants to give you. I just don't want you to, this is very common. I hear this example in many cases. I love this topic. There were so-called shamans that they were telling these women, you were my lover in the past life. Now we have to be together. And these women were not emotionally grounded, and they feel like use and abuse and all this and that. And this is very common in some spiritual circles. Hey, we were lovers in a past life. We have to be together. I'm not joking. It sounds funny, but this is real life real experiences with people being manipulated, taken advantage because you are taking spirituality just as something outside of you, something very out there, something very 80. Once again, it is about your present. It is about knowing what you want. It is about honoring, respecting yourself. The other thing about past life, many people blame themselves in this lifetime. Oh, my ancestors did something horrible. I must have been a horrible person in a past life. That's why I'm suffering. I cannot find love in this and that. Yes, there might be an influence, but like I say, the gift, it's in the present moment. The forgiveness, the reconciliation, it's in the present moment. This, you are just only your mind. Sometimes mind needs a reason why. And sometimes we use past life as an excuse to really don't see what are we able to do for ourselves in the present moment. You see, the most pure person in this universe with no sin, if he's born as a human person, they will have their ups and downs. They will know suffering, they will know joy, they will cry, they will sad. You don't use past life experiences as an excuse to live your life, to give hope to yourself, to move forward. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit of past life. But yes, I used to dream about my past life as a kid. And when I came to the USA, I learned with Brian Weiss to help me to guide myself what was going on.
Yeah. Like Dove Light was saying, one of my first experiences is I was meditating and learning to work with all these energies. And I meditated and I got to another place, pardon me. And I'm sitting there and it was all black, but I could hear a lot going on, but I couldn't see anything. And I kept asking, I met my guide at that time. And And I kept asking, well, can't I see you? Why can't I see you? Why can't, and I was just literally told, because you're not ready yet. This is not the time. This isn't how this is going to happen. You're not ready yet. And that can often be the answer as you start to do all of this work, that your capabilities, your emotional strength has grown to a certain level, but you've learned all these things and you've got all these questions and you've seen all this stuff. And the answer that I think most of us get at some point, or maybe even often, is you're not ready yet. And you keep doing the work on yourself and excuse me, and developing your emotional fortitude and being able to not be triggered by anger and sadness and these sorts of things, and to heal the stuff. Because, like Deb Light was saying, even if all the bad things that are happening right now in your life are to fix karma from a past life, don't worry about it. Fix the karma. Stop doing the thing. Do better. Fix better. That's it. It generally, it isn't always a transactional thing where, like she mentioned with the dogs, if you were really bad to animals in a past life and now you're running an animal rescue, like that's a pretty even trade. You can kind of see that in your mind how that works. Sometimes it can be about, I'm drawn to this person, but we fight each other so much when we get there. It might be about you learning to be able to forgive and accept and understand that they are who they are. And if they haven't grown enough, you might still need to be apart because you've healed yourself, but they haven't healed themselves. So there's a lot of different things that happen in all of these. But undertaking a certain amount of self-development and self-growth, whether that is therapy or books or intensive meditations or the things, so that you have control of your own inner universe and your own inner space, is a good start to being able to hear and see these things if you're reaching out, not getting answers on stuff. Under hypnosis for past life regression, I guess it kind of depends for me on what you mean by past life regression. If you want to see it and know it, there's different ways, like Deb Light was saying. You could ask for it in your dreams. You could ask for it to be brought to you. There are hypnosis things. I had a friend who did a lot of this work, and she had like a 20-page questionnaire, and you'd fill out the questionnaire, and she went and worked with it, and then she had answers. And it was kind of creepy how effective her answers were compared to the past life regression meditation that I did, compared to like the way these things intersect and meet each other is kind of like, ooh, that's kind of impressive. So there's lots of ways to get that information. And there's lots of ways to be prepared to take in the information and hear it and learn it and use it. So.
Great. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we've got a question about what your experiences are, and then someone is in line for a question. Excuse me. How much have you worked with connecting with animals?
Not at
The
all.
mediumship with animals. Yeah. So I know it ended up being a smaller panel. So we were going to have someone that worked with animals, and that's why I didn't know if any of you do. So not Echo.
There are
Go ahead.
there are specials, like for example, the example that I did about the animal in past life. That's not, we cannot judge. We don't know what a soul sign up for. There are generally people who really love animals and they sign up in this lifetime to be a bridge for the animals. And my connection with animals is that we were very poor growing up, and the dogs in my neighborhood, they didn't have the means to help them to, they say in English, fix it. So I always was growing up surrounded by dogs. I learned how to bark, how to growl before even speak. And my sister has this stronger than me, because in the sense that she literally can just lay down on an animal and she will hear their energy as a voice. I do that with humans, but she has the more attuned to the animals because of her own reasons. Yes, the dogs, this is not the truth, the ultimate truth. This is my perspective. When a wild animal soul cross to a pet because it's getting ready to cross to a human. Or sometimes they just sign up to learn through you and be your spirit guides through the pet form because you need a spirit guide which is in the physical for whatever reason you need it. There's many benefits to have, a guardian dog or emotionally, spiritually, protects you physically. Yes, the dogs has a soul. They have an energy field. They have their own connection to the divine. You can tap into a pet through their I don't want to mundane or the animal human world personality. And then also you can tap into the dog's higher self. The higher self will tell you something like, I came here to show you that you have the right to speak up. So when I bark a lot, I'm reminding you that don't hold back your voice, speak out. And you also have the mundane part when the dog say, my favorite snacks were the cookies that I used to steal from you. And so both are valid. But yes, you can connect through animals who pass away and through animals who are alive through energy, through thoughts and feelings. They are very easy to pick up. Most animals in nature, humans included, communicated like that through sending thoughts with emotion images and that energetic exchange. But there are people who specialize on that because that's their calling and they are bridges. And there's actually a documentary about Anna, which is in YouTube about animal communication. It's really beautiful. Yeah, but yes, you can communicate with animals. Yes.
Okay, great. So that person that had a question about animals probably won't ask tonight. And then I'm just checking out one more thing just to see if I know who. Oh, okay, great. Okay. Now I know who's ready. Okay, let's see. So the person that has a question is not going to come on screen. We can say their name so you know who it is in terms of connecting. And let's see, and then you're gonna unmute and you're gonna say your question and talk with us, right? Person in the audience that's going to be asking. I'm just double checking. Are you okay with your voice being on, or how are you wanting to? Let's see, we were writing in the chat. Oh, you want me to say it? Okay. Okay, great. But it's okay for me to say your name in the recording, or you just want me to put it in chat? Okay. Okay, great. So you on the panel know. So this is Vanessa in the audience. The video's on, so you can see who it is. I've been getting some downloads recently, and would like to know if you have messages for Vanessa. Yeah, so I've been getting downloads, and then yeah. And maybe I'll say while they're checking in, I'm noticing your posture, right? So I do body psychology, so I'm thinking about your posture, and I'm thinking about how you're doing a little bit of blocking in this part of you right now. So yeah, so it could be that you're particularly wanting to stay quiet and wait and see what the others say, right? And you're wanting to keep your voice off, so you might be doing that. But it also could be like, because some of what was showing up for me is some way that you're holding back, and like it's wanted that you step out and you do something more. And so the way you're holding your hands might be symbolic of you're holding yourself back. And so I particularly just encourage you in receiving these answers, just like see if you loosen your shoulders and how you can open up your energy even more, like if you're asking so you can receive what's here, and your palms being up and all those kinds of things. Yeah, so just so your energy is open for this. Yeah, so practitioners, whenever you're ready, go ahead. So yeah, so the question is, I'll just clarify what the question is. Vanessa says, I've been getting some downloads recently, and I'd like to know if you have any messages for me. May have to be with something about these downloads. Somehow connected to the downloads.
You know, astrological is going through a difficult couple of weeks right now, and I'm getting the feeling it has something to do with that. Very challenging time, time of new beginnings, time of change. So everybody gets a little more active when we have a change like that in the full moon. Things come out, we notice things more. That's all I'm getting.
And I'm thinking, and Vanessa, nod or write something in the chat if you want. I think it's not just been the last 2 weeks. I think it's a longer period of time, right? It's more like, I feel like it's more like a month and a half or a few months, or yeah. So it's been longer than that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, so Devlight's got something to share, but yeah. So the three of you, you can just keep jumping in. As one of you is pausing, the other one you have something else to share. Just go ahead and jump in.
Just take what resonates and leave what it doesn't. I don't know if you wanted to speak specifically about what kind of downloads, but in general, it is about your thoughts create your reality. Seems like there might be news that have been affecting you, and there is a sense of freedom that needs to be felt into your life, like an opening, like a new path. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. So I feel like these downloads might be leading you or guiding you in a way that you can be open to a new perspective, when you can feel more free, when may your path be open. I got here. I got the Death, Ten of Swords, Ace of Swords, the Hangman, and Justice. So all these cards, except one, they have swords. Swords are about the mind, the air. It is about cutting through. Once again, it is these downloads, I feel, that they are guiding you, helping you to really direct your thoughts, because your dogs influence how you feel, and how you feel will influence how you act, your choices in your decisions. The Death and the Ten of Swords are talking about a period that has closed. Either something needs to die, a behavior, a thought pattern, a situation needs to be transformed. Perhaps there was a time when you felt betrayed, or you felt like things were not going the way that you used to, but that's in the past. That cycle, it's over. Ace of Swords, again, it's the card of clarity, beginning in the mind. So I truly feel like they're asking you to meditate, to reflect in your truth, because there is a new opening that's going to, like a new cycle, a new opening, a new idea. Something is going to open up for you, but they're asking you to be more balanced. How you want to go through it, because meditation will help you to get more information. No, thank you. I feel that downloads are related with information and how to take a decision in how to move forward in a certain area of your life. But they also asking for justice. So if this is not related to a legal matter, then as in general message, they're talking about balance. How in this new cycle of your life, you're going to be more fair to yourself, and more fair to your dreams and goals, to more fair in a way that new path will open for you, so you feel more free to do the things that you love, or to breathe even. But that's a little bit of the message that I'm getting from the download, without not knowing what the download is about in general. A little bit of that.
Great, thanks, Devlight. Yeah. Echo, anything else to share, Jennifer? Yeah.
I got that you the message. So going off all the message that you're getting and the direction that it's leading to, you are nervous about it because you are not sure if you can do the things you're being pushed to do. And what I get is that you're stronger than you realize you are. I also got the Hanged Man, just like Devlight did. And so I would say that that's really an indicator that you need to undertake some knowledge and some learning, and you need to bring some things in, and that this knowledge and learning is going to come at a bit of a cost and a bit of an effort to you, whether that's going to be emotionally, monetarily, or energetically. I'm not sure. And I did also get the Emperor, so that there is, I don't know if the messages are actually channeled from someone who is a strong presence in your past, or if it involves a strong presence. I'm not sure how that all ties together, but that someone who is a very strong presence in your life is involved in this somehow. And that it may have to do with a career field. I don't know if it's your current career field or a change in your career field, but it seems to me like it has something to do with a career. So that's what I got.
And I guess maybe Jennifer, I'll just so career field, maybe is there anything else? Do you have any other is there anything else around that you
Are you asking me, Lorelei?
I was asking Jennifer just to see if she had
Oh,
something else around that. And I can throw in some other data if it's
Most of what I get keeps having to do with the acquisition of knowledge, that there's some path of study, discovery, and work and effort that needs to be put in. And that yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's a career change or not, but
Yeah. I think Vanessa's nod or write something in the chat, whether this is right. I think you're having the leaning into being a practitioner and like pulling back. You're kind of having this wobble with this, or like you're going and you're pulling like it's so there's something about that that I think is part of what Jennifer's picking up on. Yeah, Vanessa was laughing, so there's something about that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's because I'm on a point in my life right now because I'm exploring, and then I feel the pull for those parts, and then yeah, and then there comes the learning you mentioned.
yeah, it seems like the advice that we're all hearing is to keep exploring and keep learning. And like Dove Light has mentioned multiple times, and like Echo has talked about, and I've mentioned, lean into it and believe it. When it hits you just so, go ahead and believe it. Don't be scared to have faith in it when it really occurs to you. There's this point when we're working on our intuition and we're learning these sorts of things where you really have to learn to check in with your heart and your gut and see how those feel. And if you feel the wide open expanse like you do when you have the love of that one grandmother who just loves you so much, right? Or the love of our gods and deities, or the love of whatever it is, that super warm, all encompassing, when you have something that hits and it leaves you wide open and comfortable and relaxed and at ease, then we know that's true, and we go ahead and accept it. And if you hear something and your stomach clenches up a little bit and you feel your heart close in, and maybe you even literally close your shoulders in a little bit and lean in, then that's almost a no, right? That's the no that you get from your intuition, that it's telling you, wait a minute, this isn't ringing true, like I need you to hear it. So that's something to develop and learn as you work with it all. When you get that yes, believe it, have faith in it, lean into it, and let it continue to unfold for you as you let it all go. If that helps, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. And then back back to a comment that I put in the message a little earlier. It was because when I was in Sedona just a couple weeks ago, there was one time that I was being pulled to go to one direction, but I wanted to go in a different direction. And then twice I was pulled to one direction, but I went to the other direction. When I got there, there was nothing to see, nothing, nowhere to go. And I was like, okay, I gotcha. And then I came back. So these are the background for that comment.
Yeah.
And I have a question about the downloads. Do you have the sense that the downloads are for you, or are they for you to transmit to others?
I think it's for me because when I had it was mainly during energy healing, because I felt extremely tired. But then after, when I was in the breakout room talking to some other friends, and then And then one of them mentioned that they're also feeling that. So, and then they mentioned, oh, those are the downloads. I was like, oh, okay. And then I start reflecting, talking about it. I start feeling better. So I was okay. It's good to know when this came all of a sudden. So tired. But then after talking with them, I was like, oh, okay. It's like the light bulb. But, oh, okay. And then I start feeling better.
Great. Yeah, Echo, anything you wanted to add to your answer from earlier? Just checking to see if there is.
Just that it's a period right now that we're all going through, and it's really intense this week. That we're being called to, like everyone was saying, to learn more, to be open to new things, and everything's going to be shook up a little, and it's for us to move and try experience new things or things that we're being called to. So I think your downloads have to do what you're being called to.
Okay.
Great.
Thank
Great.
you.
And let's see then, someone else had a question that's related to your question. They asked, how would one know if it's a download as opposed to just a thought? So I know for me, when I have, I'll call it a claircognizant experience versus a thought, my thoughts are related to other things that are here, like that I've been thinking about. Like I can make a logical connection to why something is showing up, but I can imagine that my brain is thinking about these things. Whereas for me, when it's a download or a claircognizant experience, this thing just shows up that's kind of contained on its own. It feels so just true. Like I still may have a questioning of like, really, is it? But it just feels so true. Like there's a certainty that it comes in with. So we have to be careful. Like it could be a thought from a good place. It could be thought from, a bad place, and it could be here like to harm me or a thing that's like good. So there's a discernment that we need to do about that. But there's a way that it feels separate from the rest of my experience as a human. And that's how I can tell that it's from somewhere else. Like an example of a couple of them. So I used to be a biologist. And so one of the things that landed for me when I was 17 or 18. I'm like, really? Where did this be? I had no idea I was doing any of this at that point, but I just all of a sudden had the don't wear a bra. It like traps stuff and causes breast cancer. I just had this, okay, don't wear a bra. It causes breast cancer. I'm like, huh? Like what? Why? I stopped wearing bras. And then another one that I had was that because like the immune system is like there's a whole bunch of DNA that like rearranges to make the variety of all the immune system. And I just one time had the like, oh, I bet the brain is made the same way. Like, and it just appeared as a thought. Like you could say it makes sense. It's in my world of why I would think about things, but I don't even know if it came up as an I bet. It just said, oh, the brain is made the same way. Like, what? Where'd that come from? So those are the kinds of things that like just land where it's not part of my context of my life. So that's one way I can tell the difference between a download and a thought. Anyone else want to share something about how do you know when it's a download or a thought?
For me, it's like an aha moment. It strikes you differently. You can kind of tell, when it's your own thoughts cycle, the way that you're thinking. And something just will come out of the blue and it will feel like an aha moment, more substantial.
Yeah, the aha is kind of related to like the true, like it just feels so.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like inspiration, but it has the inner knowing feeling. Like many times when I'm talking about a topic, it's almost like there is something telling me or reminding me or putting the energy on my head, on my thought to go through that direction. Because there is nothing wrong with thought. Actually, the spirits will use what is more comfortable for you. You'll be able to understand. So if you're a very rational person or very thinking person, they will use your thought. Sometimes you will think they are your thoughts, but they're actually inspiration from a spirit. And in my case, I know it's because first of all, like, why will I come out with that? Where did that information came from? I will not be able to come out on my own with that type of energy. And there are times when they come like thunder, not because of the sound. Have you seen the lights of the thunder when they go in and out? They don't make sound, but they go like that. And it comes through my head. Sometimes I felt like that, and I feel like, okay, that's not me at all. But yes, it has the feeling of, to me, inspiration with an inner knowing that it's coming from them in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone says, it's an inspiration. It's an inner knowing. It is very clear, and the truth of it almost has its own flavor, its own emotion, its own color as you work with it some. Vanessa spoke earlier about she wanted to go this way. She knew that her conscious being wanted to go this way, and she could hear being pulled the other way. And when you have situations like that where you encounter them in your life, start to keep track of them. Keep track of the choices you make and how it turns out. And then think a little bit about how it felt. It's a way to practice your intuition and build on it. You can keep notes in your phone or notes in a notebook or anything like that. And you don't have to follow all the inspiration, but now at my age and all the years that I've done this, when I get that kind of it's almost like a bell or a light switch or a ding. Ding, you should do this. Hey, you should do that. I don't even argue. I don't try to logic it. I don't try to make sense out of any of it. I just do what I'm being told now, because I've seen too many times where that was the right answer. So with some practice and you can scientifically map it out. Keep the notes in your phone. Keep the notes as you hear the thing and you choose to do something else. See how the things work out. See which way works better, and you'll start to get a sense for how it feels and how it sounds as you encounter these intuition hits, these crossovers over time, and they will get clearer with time and practice. All of this is a practice. It's something that we learn and develop with time. It's a muscle that you build some strength to be able to have the energy to do multiple readings, to do multiple channelings, to do multiple things throughout a day. It takes a little bit of build up. Part of feeling better, Vanessa also talked about being very tired. You learn the spiritual hygiene it takes for you not to do that, for you to be able to clear yourself and ground yourself and get centered again, to not stay open all the time. If I stay open too long, it feels really good. I'm on this energetic high. It's so awesome. It's really great, right? Yeah, if I do that for too long, then I end up like a bad drunk hangover later, where I just feel beat up and tired and have a headache and I'm nauseous and it's just a bad thing. You do that enough times and then you learn when you're done. Close down, take a moment, recenter, reground, clear everything, be in a good spot again to move forward, because I don't want to visit the other experience, right? So these are things that we learn along the way. And to remember also, when I teach people and I do mentoring, one of the first things that I teach people is you are the tool. Your body is the tool. And you want to take good care of your tool. Make sure that you're sleeping. Make sure that you're eating healthy food. Make sure you drank enough water. Make sure you did all these things so that you keep your tool running well, right? We do that with our vehicles. We do that with our homes. We do that with our children and our spouses and all these other things where we like make sure that all the things are taken care of. Do it for yourself. Because if your tool isn't tuned in and taken care of, then all the things are even harder and more difficult to understand and discern, and they might not hit right. And, is that really a message from the other side, or am I just really hungry? It's hard to keep track of these things if you're not keeping yourself in good shape and good condition. So.
All right, great. All right. Thank you so much for your question. And thanks everyone for your answers. All right, great. Yeah, thank you for sharing your heart. All right, we've got another question, and this person wants to come up here, say on stage, so I'm going to bring you up. And one thing I did not say earlier, so in general, when we do panels, when you ask a question, if we go deeper than you want us to go, or we talk about topics you don't want us sharing about here, just interrupt us and give us guidance so we stay in the zone that works for you and how we answer. All right, so Angie, what is your question?
Hi. So today is my mother's 2-year anniversary of crossing over, and I'm wondering if she has any messages for myself or my wife, Angela, who is here beside me.
I'm getting a little something that she's very happy that you found happiness in your life. You found what you wanted in your life, what, makes you feel complete, or just that everything that she's grateful that you found what you wanted. She's happy for you.
I got the feel. Please, if it doesn't resonate, it's okay to say no. That's not it. That's not me. I first saw almost like, to me it looks like a woman with white hair. She was wearing a green sweater. She was sitting on a couch or some sort of seat, but she gave me the impression that she was just kind of like observing, or kind of like just sitting there, almost like, to me, give me the impression of observation, but she was just sitting on her chair like that. And here I'm picking up with the oracle card caregiver. I usually don't read oracle cards because I channel information, but this one they're asking me to read it specifically. I took from this oracle. We are here with you, and a spirit has its own way of recognizing the care and love you provide to others, especially at the end of their lives. Just as you receive care and love at the start of your life, caregivers often focus all their attention in their loved ones and often neglect their own concerns and well-being in the process. So me, this is telling me, with I got this, the first cards that I got these two, which is telling me that it was a painful moment at that time. You recognize the passing, that there was some sort of pain in the heart, but they see you for who you are, like a child, and they want you also to take care of yourself. I also have the Four of Swords, which is also have to do with this oracle card. That this is telling me that they're they're asking you for your mother will asking you, observing you, is asking you for balance in your life, from some type of moderation, to reflect if there is a area in your life when you are just depleting your energy. They want some sort of moderation. They also acknowledge the caring of yourself. Maybe, I don't know why, but I don't see no much expressions like I want to see this woman happy or doing something, but she's just like sitting like that. That's the way she's showing herself to me. I don't know why she's showing herself to me sitting like in the sofa. But this is like, if you say, what will she want me to tell you, your wife? She recognized that there was a sadness passing over, crossing over. That sometimes it did hurt you in the heart, but there will be communication, if you haven't done so, between in the spirit world. They definitely want you to have some balance in some sort of your life. They want you to rest also and practice moderation. But the most important thing that it's coming to me, it's the feeling of gratefulness that she acknowledged that you did take care for her in the best way that you could. That's no doubt about it. Let's acknowledge it. No, she's just showing me her eyes, and she's showing me sitting in the sofa, but she's almost like a stoic, stoic. Tell me something, give me a message. She's just showing me herself stoic on the sofa for some reason, but that's what I'm getting as of now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot of what I get. She is a very, very contained, quiet person. That she was not super expressive and loud and outgoing is what I'm getting. She's just very still. I see her actually with long black hair, so I'm not sure about that. And I get she is happy for you guys, but she feels like you are still too often too focused on the sadness. You're focused on I don't know if it has to do with her. There's some separation and sadness and something that you're kind of caught up in. And I literally see um, kind of hunched over and looking down. And at first I was asking, like, is it knitting? Is it embroidery? It was almost like someone was concentrating down on something in their hands. But the feeling with it isn't creativity and creating something, it's kind of a closed off, closing in. Um, and so I'm kind of extrapolating from all of those feelings that it has to do with her wanting you to go ahead and release some of that, release some of the heaviness that I feel like is being carried, um, and to go outside. Did somebody used to walk or hike or run or do something outside in the forest that they aren't doing anymore? Maybe that's what I'm getting. Um, I'm almost getting the Sound of Music, if you've ever seen the movie, and then Julie Andrews is like up on the mountain spinning around singing in a dress. That's the visual. Um, but not for her, for you guys, that there's something about being outside and joyous about the outside that has been missed, as there's a closed in kind of feeling to all of it. Um, yeah, I get to move outside, to not be closed in, and literally to look up. And I'm getting like look up in the daytime, not necessarily the moon and the stars, but to look up in the daytime, if that makes any sense.
I'll start looking up. Thank you.
But it seems like to me,
I
the
was
looking
kind of
up, I just want to say, I hear it also symbolically of like optimistically, see more optimistically about what's happening during the day. So I think about what's happening with work and but- okay, and Echo had something.
yeah, I was just saying I just got this is that um, your mom wants you to relax more in life and be more happy. That sometimes we work so hard at trying to figure everything out. We've got everything mastered, and something magical about life comes along and reveals itself. She wants you to kind of enjoy things more. Don't be so serious. That there's more to life than figuring everything out.
Thank
Mm,
you.
Yeah.
To me, she keeps showing me it's almost like a kitchen or cabinets, but she's still sitting on her chair, like looking like that. But I'm asking you, would you give me a message or anything? But she's giving me the sense that nobody could rush her or push her. Like if she didn't want to do something, that she didn't want to do it, like nobody will move her. But she's showing me an open window with sunlight coming through. To me, it feels like a kitchen, but it could be another area where she's just sitting there. I know it's wood and there is cabinets, but what she's giving me right now is a sense of observance and peace. But it's not thank you. So what it's telling me is that it is okay if you are not super joyful, super happy, or super anything. I feel like sometimes being at peace, it's as important as being happy all the time. So I that's how I feeling, because I don't feel I don't see her happy or joyful. I just see her observing and peaceful. So to me, what are you telling me? Yeah, just have patience at your own time. Take some moments to just observe and be there. That's what she's saying. I feel that's what she's letting me know. Okay, that's what I'm getting off now.
Thank you.
Right, great. Anyone have anything else for Angie? Or Angie, is there any clarifying question you have about any of what people shared?
No, she did have black hair when she was younger, long black hair. Um, she had gray hair at the end. And yeah, everything you guys have said, spot on. And I am a little serious, so I do need to take it easy a little bit. Um, and the outside scenario resonates. we've been having some issues and we're not really outside in nature as much as we would like. And so I can connect with that information too. So
Great.
thank you.
Great. All right.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for asking a question. All right, we've got someone else maybe that's stepping in to ask. Yeah, so if anyone wants to ask a question, we're getting close on time, but we definitely can still do that one more question. So the information on how to pay is all here. There are links there. There's a link for the Humanitics event, a link for my Venmo, a link for my PayPal. They're kind of all squished in there, but so just let me know after you've paid and
Somebody, I'm
Hmm?
not I'm not answering specifically, but in general, the spirits make it easier. Sometimes we just need to be in a space to just listen and don't make it complicated. Because somebody was asking if there was a message of my loved ones that have passed away. I'm now getting an understanding because I'm not in tune with my spirit. Then be in tune with your spirit. How do you know? Allowing safe space for your mind to listen to your heart and your mind. Literally, it's because we are not used to it, because we're always on the go. But if you and it's hard, because even to me, to be honest, it's hard sometimes to cultivate a space when you just can be receptive. That's why they use me when I'm sleeping. I mean, that's why they get when I'm sleeping. To cultivate, then you have to trust that, then you will be able to be more receptive. But spirits make it very easy. They can send you feathers, numbers, songs, dreams. They can synchronize so you hear this panel, or the message from somebody else makes sense to you, or you literally dream they talking. So it is about cultivating the space and trusting your inner guidance, trusting your spirit that it's able to hear, and that's it. Because sometimes when we want something very hard, very hard, very hard, very hard, like why am I not being a medium? Why am I not getting the picture? When I'm gonna get like that, then we are kind of blocking ourselves. But that's answering in general. I'm not asking saying this is specific, this is specific.
yeah, so it's like readying ourselves and really opening ourselves to be willing to receive the message. And even if we don't know exactly how we're communicating this, but just simply saying even out to the universe, to your guides, like just to say like I'm ready, like I'm willing to hear, I'm willing to see, like I'm willing to receive the messages or the signs.
And the
So,
second part, to have the wisdom to follow up through, because sometimes they do give us the message, but I don't like that answer. Nah.
Well, and you can always ask too, like, okay, so did that feather have meaning, or is it just a feather on the sidewalk? And for me, it's always in threes. If something happens 3 times, then I start to really pay attention. Like it wasn't just a feather, it wasn't just a squirrel, it wasn't just like it happened 3 times in reasonable succession, depending on how odd the thing is, right? Then I start to pay attention. Okay, so what does this mean? And I'll ask that out loud, like a crazy person right there on the path while I'm taking a walk. Oh, what is this supposed to mean? And sometimes I get the answer right away, and sometimes, like Echo was talking about earlier, where they like to fool around, I'll hear laughter. It'll be, it can be different things where but as you build the relationship, you start to hear the things. But if you're not sure, you can ask, like, what does this mean, what I think it means? And you'll usually get a yes or a no, or it'll happen again and again and again. And then you're like, okay, so this obviously means something. Let me figure it out.
all right, great. Well, we're getting towards the end. We're not going to have the other question right now, so that'll be saved for another time. So, panelists, is there anything else that you want to share about mediumship? Anything you think are just, the related topics that we've talked about tonight? To see if there's anything else that you want to have here in the package of what this event is before we do have you all introduce yourselves again with any specials that you have.
Just that how it's such a different life once you get into it and you start learning. And I encourage anyone that has a curiosity to give it a try. And, I think that anyone's capable of it. They put in the time and they learn and they have a bit of a gift. I think we all have a gift. It's just finding it.
Being able to wander around in the mysterious space and being willing to be like goofy or odd or whatever we want to call it, of speaking the thing out right in the middle of the park or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Saying the thing to someone else, or like following the guidance a little bit and seeing where it goes, like being willing to do those things. How we find it.
I will say that you're going to hear a lot that all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. And in my little perspective, it depends on your soul contract and your willingness. There are people who can become mediums even if they're not from a lineage, they don't have it in their DNA, they're not born naturally gifted, or whatever you want to call it. If your intention is pure, to connect, to be a bridge from love, not because you want to scam people or take money. And there is nothing wrong with charging for your time, but there is the different energy. If your intention is genuine, that you want to show the effort to spirit, every Tuesday at 7, I'm going to connect, I'm going to do my journaling, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to do that, then that effort shows and that builds up, because intuition is like a muscle. You have to learn how to exercise it, so you trust yourself, so you trust your connection. Because if you don't trust your connection, if you start doubting yourself, it doesn't matter if you are intuitive or mediumship or you believe this and that, they're always going to walk in a circle. So if I could say something from that, we all have the ability to connect to the spirit world in different forms, in different ways. We are all unique, and we live in a world of shadows and light. So just be mindful that you will not open your door to any stranger to come inside your house, because it might not resonate with your core belief or safety. You will not do the same thing in the other world. Don't believe these easy TikToks, rituals, candles, whatever you want to call it, energies, spirits that you don't know, because sometimes you might open a door to somebody which you will not want in your house. And then that's another type of work. So if you want to avoid that, please start with a clear intention. Start with intention. Even if you don't want to serve and help people, okay, my intention from my heart is to connect with my loved one, to my grandmother, to my mother, to my angels. If your intention is pure and you have cultivated a relationship to the source, because what protects you, what bless you, what guide you is the love of the source through the different spirit guides forms. Through that will help you. Your spirit guides, your people who pass away, people who you love, and just one thought away. I know it sounds weird, right? But there is a dimension when you're only thinking about your dog or your cat or the person who passed away. The moment you think about it, the moment you're already connecting. So I just feel like also don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes they have their astral world in the astral city, in the dimensional time. Maybe they want to go to another incarnation. Maybe they just want to learn music in their dimension. They also have their life in the other side too. So they don't want to connect with you all the time. But at the same time, they can, because that the time space works differently. But to summary, if your intention is pure and you are clear about it, you can become a medium, you can connect to the spirit realm, you can it is not your imagination is your limit, and your imagination it's your potential. That's what I meant to say, but do it in a safe way, and please don't get in the hands of scammers, please.
Great.
Yeah, I would say if you're really interested in learning this stuff, keep coming to these MeWe events. You'll find practitioners who are honest and true, and we've worked together, many of us, over and over again, so that if an individual is unsavory, I think they would be found out. So it's a place where you could always come back to ask us questions, to learn about things, to see what your experience is, and what is a better way to partake and do the thing that you're trying to do. Yeah, you don't always want to believe the social media folks and the things you see on YouTube and stuff like that. There's some great ideas, some really interesting things. There's also some that I see it and I'm like, ooh, wow, that's not going to go well. So it's worth just asking around and ask some people who you know and trust, like, what would you do this? What would be a better way? Would always be a better way to go. Yeah.
Yep, great. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to share yet in terms of the subject matter before we close out?
Yes, if you also, just because you are able to connect to spirit, just because you're able to receive message from the divine, just because you're able to dream things before they happen, just because you're able to tap in, doesn't mean that you're perfect. You're not at all, and you are safe from this human world experience, which means that sometimes in order to grow, you will have to pass through experiences. Sometimes the challenge can become a blessing in disguise. So please never blame God, Goddess, never blame your angels for the things that humans do to each other. Sometimes it's a mystery. The Native Americans call in Great Spirit a mystery. Sometimes we don't know why things happens the way it happens, but for sure, your faith, your love for the divine, and trust me, there is an energy of unconditional love who love you, no matter what you think you have done, no matter what you think you judge yourself, it love you, and it's gonna help you navigate through this challenging time. So it is a mystery why things happen to good people or bad people, or basically it's we just sometimes don't know. Part of being on earth is to don't know stuff and to wonder. So please just take this, that if you ever also receive a message from a spirit that doesn't resonate with you, oh, thank you. They're channeling again. They remind me of something. Can I say this spirit really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
There was this medium from England who worked with Jesus, who worked with the angels, and she's very good and she's very loving. However, behind curtains, she's also human. She was gossiping about people, and she was mistreating bad their employers because she worked with a team. And when one of the employers find out about her and decide not to connect with her, this person, because she's human, she channel Jesus. Oh, Jesus is gonna be mad at you because you're making people angry. So first of all, this person was not acknowledge her mistakes. Second of all, she's using the name of energy to cover up for her human mistake. If as Dovefly, I talk about the Holy Spirit, I talk about God, I talk about the angels, but you do not resonate with something that I say, that doesn't take away your own relationship with the angels, your own relationship with Holy Spirit, with God, whatever you believe. Why am I saying this? Because we sometimes confuse the mediums, the psychics, the healers with your own connection with the divine. If you don't resonate with a human person, you don't resonate. You don't have to take it. I have very famous psychic, very famous reading with somebody who told me, don't work with the public, only work with your family. If I believe her because she's a 5-star person, I will not even be here right now talking to you guys. So sometimes we don't know why life comes with these lessons to trust yourself, And this is important for me to say. If a medium says something that it doesn't resonate with you, take it with a grain of salt, take it with grounded feet, because just because the medium says he's working with angel, Jesus, or whatever, that doesn't mean that because you do not accept the medium's message, Jesus, the angels, God, Goddess is mad at you. Don't confuse a server, a tool in the earth with your connection with the divine. And that's very important to know. I hope I make sense. I'm saying it clearly because, it's good. Okay, bye.
Yeah, if something doesn't resonate, don't go with that. And sometimes some people are like feisty and some people talk about arguing with their guides, and like just part of the journey of being who you are. It really could be that it doesn't resonate, it's not a fit for you, and not listening is really a good thing. And it could be you have lessons in that process, like you are where you are, and just listening to yourself, like you are your biggest guide, really. Yeah, great. All right, anything else? Any other content? And I think you look like you're about to say something. Echo, just want to give you space if you did.
Oh, I wasn't, but I can say something. Uh, your call to mediumship or being ready will come in a very weird way. I know with myself, it's called an awakening. And my life a couple years ago was totally different. I was very devout religious person. If you had to mention tarot cards or anything with me, I would have ran the other way. But all of a sudden, my life just kind of went boom one night, and I was taken to my knees. And I thought, why would something so terrible happen so quickly? But if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have noticed the dimes on the floor, on the ground. I wouldn't have noticed the butterflies. I wouldn't have heard that calling because that person inside that ego needs to be calmed down in order to listen. So just want to say, think you can be called many different ways.
Great. Like a great way to end. Well, I put the practitioner's information in the chat again, and we're going to go through and have the practitioners say again, so each of you say again who you are, what you do, how people can reach out to you so that all the people watching the video have access to that. And if you have a special, let us know what the special is. So maybe we'll do it again in Dove Light, Jennifer, and then Echo.
I'm Dovelight, and you can find me in my Instagram at Dovelight Oracle on any search, Safari, Chrome. Just put at Dovelight Oracle, and you will find me. I am supporting the wisdom keepers of the Maya tradition by offering them a space to provide teachings online. Right now we're in Sunday classes to learn about Maya cosmology, how to work with cacao and the Mayan calendar in a respectful way, directly taught by indigenous wisdom keepers. All the funds are going directly towards their projects. And I do personal tarot readings. I love doing readings. I do many shamanic techniques, past life regression, crystal work, light language, angelic realm. I just love to be connected to spirit. And I have a coupon if you want a New Year's reading. For my coupon is 2026 for a 20% discount in any readings. You can also find me on my link tree. And I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you, Lorelai, from the space. And I hope that people got really beautiful stuff to reflect and to be open to connect to the divine, whichever way they feel called to. And thank you all.
Great, great. Thank you, Dove Light. Jen, Jennifer.
Well, I thank everyone for coming tonight and listening. I love all the things about all this. I love teaching and sharing my gift and the things as we do. And I fully appreciate that Lorelai has created this space where I can meet so many amazing practitioners and share with them. My website is in there. It's purplepaisleyjen.com, and Instagram's really probably the best way. Instagram and Facebook, Crone Corner, where I share information and other things. I do offer a discount when folks mention MeWe. I go with a 20% discount so that if you've found me through this wonderful space, there's a benefit with that. I do tarot readings, and I have some mentorship courses that are in development and will be up eventually. And I'm often at these events, probably at least once a month. So
Great, great. Thank you. And then Echo.
Okay, my information is on there, my email site, my phone number. You can
Oh,
text.
and you need to say them out loud so that people in the video get them because they can't see the chat.
Oh, okay. My phone number is 778-539-5288. You can text me rather than call. And my email, I can't see it right now.
I got it. It's Echo the Mystic 4
The
gmail.com.
Yeah, so just as far as specials go, I think I keep my price very low, and I don't intend on raising it anytime soon. And I think it's a good deal. So that's already a special.
That's great. And we've got lots of online events coming up at Maybe Fairs. We've got lots and lots of practice circles. We had one earlier today. We've got another one tomorrow, so Friday, January 23 at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And then we've also got them Sunday, January 25 at 5 p.m. And we've got next Wednesday, next Saturday, and we created another one on Wednesday. They're all on our website at joinmiweonline.com. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see all the upcoming events. We've also got Launch Map with Jenny, the plan that moves you forward. So this is Launch Map for moving the woo you forward. So set up to, so Jenny's got a way for helping us anything that we're passionate about that is something important to us that we want to move forward, where we feel a bit stuck or we want help launching. She's going to be doing that with us on Saturday. And then we've got an online fair coming up on Friday, January 30th from 5 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And we've got more panels coming up. On Tuesday, February 3, we've got telepathic animal and nature spirit communication. Tuesday, February 17, we have Year of the Fire Horse, Power and Freedom Over Fear. February 23, we've got medical intuition and energy medicine healing. March 3, we've got communication with interdimensional and galactic beings. Those are all panels. And we've got another online fair, Friday, February 20, this time in the afternoon, like 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So we're in the evening in the East Coast. And we've got more cosmic conversations coming up again on Sunday, February 22. So lots and lots of stuff going on here at MeWe Fairs. So if you just go to joinmiweonline.com and scroll down to the bottom, you'll see all the upcoming online events. Well, thank you so much, practitioners, for being here. Thank you, everyone in the audience. Thank you so much, those that ask questions. It's great to be able to do this all together.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.